Good morning, students. Yesterday, we have seen the structure of a third year mechanical engineering, and in the same, we have seen course objectives and course outcomes of subject theory of machines 2. Okay, this is what we have seen yesterday. Now, we will see the what are the contents of the syllabus under this subject. So, the very first unit is spur gear. This particular unit will be taught till 8 hours. What you are going to study in this particular unit is classification of the gears, then what are different applications of these gears, then first gear will be the spur gear. In the same, we are going to see the different definitions, terminologies, fundamental of law of gearing. Then there are different profiles of an gear tooth, in which first one is the involute and second one is the cycloidal profile. So what are these different profiles, how these are made, what are its advantages, what are its disadvantages, that we are going to study. Next is path of contact, arc of contact. Whenever two gears are in contact with each other, they have these two terminologies. One is path of contact and another one is arc of contact. So this we will study when two gears are in mesh. Then conjugate action. What exactly the conjugate action is, that we will see. Next is contact ratio. Okay, what contact ratio is and how power transmission is related with this contact ratio, that we will see. Next is interference and undercutting. Basically, these are the two terminologies which comes across with every gear. Okay, so in special or in related with this spur gear, how these terminologies are related, that we will see. And also, these are undesirable properties. Interference and undercutting, or interference is an undesirable property. Okay, so how we can remove it, or how we can minimize it, or how we can avoid it, that we will see in the section of methods to avoid interference. Means how we can avoid the interference. So there are different techniques by which we can avoid the interference. So that we are going to study in particular case of spur gear. Okay. Then minimum number of teeth on gear and pinion only. Okay. So what one of the method of avoiding interference is, if suppose there are after the mathematical calculations, if we are having the minimum number of teeth on gear and on pinion, then automatically interference is avoided. Okay, so few equations we are going to see, or what are the equations by which we can get this particular formula in which we can calculate the minimum number of teeth either on pinion or on gear. Okay, that is what we are going to see. Next is force analysis and friction in gears. So what are the different forces which are going to acted on the spur gear, and what are the different frictions or the friction forces applicable on the spur gear, that we are going to see. So this is what we are going to study in unit number 1. As you are aware, this particular unit will be there in the your in semester examination for 30 marks. or in semester examination for 10 marks. 10 marks questions will be there in the in semester examination. Okay, so maybe 4 marks theory and 6 marks numerical, or vice versa can be asked. Rarely you will get 2 marks theory and 8 marks numerical. If it is there, then it is lottery for you people, because the numericals uh, in our theory of machine are quite easy. You can solve this and you can score with the help of numericals. This is what is my personal opinion. Okay, then some portion of this particular unit will be asked in end semester examination, either theory or numerical. Okay, so same thing we must remember in the end semester examination too. Apart from it, this is a base gear. Okay, spur gear has wide applications, and if we are going to see the second unit, third unit, this unit number 1 will be the foundation for these 2 units. So you must understand this spur gear very thoroughly. If you are good with this particular first unit, then it will be quite easy for you people to deal with second and third unit. These are interdependent units. Okay, but if you have understood the concepts of spur gear, definitely you will understand the second and third unit simultaneously. So that is for unit number 1. Next is unit number 2. Okay, so we are going to study helical gear, bevel gear, worm and worm wheel in this particular unit for 6 hours, maybe 2 to 3 hours per gear. Okay, and what we are going to study? Helical and spiral gears, or helical or spiral gears. So in it, we are going to see the terminology terminology of these 2 gears. Then what are the different geometrical relationships that we are going to see? Then what are the different forces which are going to be acted on the tooth of an gear, that we will see. Torque transmission capacity, its efficiency, that is what we are going to see with the analytical formulas. Okay, then one concept is there, that if we compare this particular gear, helical gear, say for example of helical gear, if we compare this particular gear with the other gears, then or other gear means it spur gear, then it will be quite easy for us to analyze this particular gear. Okay, so minimum number of teeth what we have found in the spur gear and pinion. Similarly, virtual number of teeth for helical gears we can find out. So that we will see in case of helical and spiral gears. So maybe within 2 to 3 lectures, we are supposed to finish up with this particular gear. Next is bevel gear and worm wheel. Okay, so in this particular uh, subsection of this unit, we are going to see the terminology, geometrical relationships, tooth forces, torque transmission capacity, and efficiency, okay, of this bevel gear and worm wheel. Bevel gear will be there means for the theoretical portion. Okay, the numericals will be asked on the worm wheel, and helical gear and spiral gears. So only theory portion of the bevel gears that needs to be studied. Moreover, if you see these two units, first and second, these are quite similar units. Only the thing is that the uh, shapes or the tooth of an gear are different, and because of the tooth difference, there is difference in the its torque transmission capacity, its performance, and its efficiency. So, as I have told you previously only, if you are familiar with the concepts of spur gear, it will be quite easy for you people to uh, understand unit number 2 easily. Next is unit number 3. Okay, again this particular unit we are going to study for 6 hours. Here, after studying the different sorts of gears and its terminology, we are going to see the types of gear train. What are the different types of gear trains that we are going to study? Then we will analyze epicyclic gear train. Now, what is this epicyclic gear train is? That is what we are going to see. Now, if you remember, we have studied differential, and in the differential, you are having this sort of gear train, epicyclic gear train. So, epicyclic gear train has an wide applications. If suppose we want, if we have same input, but we want variable outputs. So in this particular case, we can use this epicyclic gear train, and we can have the different output speed basically. So that can be achieved with the help of epicyclic gear train. In the same, we are going to see the holding torque for simple, compound, and epicyclic gear trains. Now these are nothing but basically say types of the gear trains: simple gear train, compound gear train, epicyclic gear train. Okay. Then torque on sun and planetary gear train. Now another name of this epicyclic gear train is sun and planetary gear train. It is quite similar. Epicyclic gear train looks like similar with the sun and planetary system. That is why it is called as an torque on. That is why it is called as an sun and planetary gear train. Okay. Then compound epicyclic gear train we are going to see. Bevel epicyclic gear train we are going to see. Okay. Now this is quite interesting unit. If you are able to understand the first 2 3 types of the problems in this particular unit, then you will be able to understand any sort of problems, because in this particular unit, examiner may generate various problems based on the various engagements of an gears. Different gears can be engaged with each other, and we can get the different what we can say output speed, isn't it? So n number of combinations can be done, but you don't need to uh, remember those, and or you don't need to know all these n number of problems. But if you are aware of the basic things, then you can solve the problems which are based on those n number of possibilities. So this is quite an scoring unit, isn't it? But a big star mark is there. If you have not understood the initial problems of this particular unit, then it will be very difficult for you people to solve the n number of possibilities which can be dropped down in this particular unit. Okay, this is what is about unit number 3, gear trains. Then Then unit number 4 is CAM and follower. You are already aware the different applications of CAM and follower. One of the application is IC engines. In it, we are going to see the types of CAM and followers, analysis of standard motions to the follower, determination of CAM profiles, okay, for the different follower motions, methods of controlling the pressure angle, radius of curvature and undercutting, jump phenomena of eccentric cam, then introduction to the advanced cams. Here it is limited up to the 3 to 5 polynomial cam only. Basically, this particular unit is a graphical unit. We need to design the cam and profile, or basically cam, by graphical way. So in this particular unit, you will have to solve the numericals by the means of graphical way. Here in this particular unit, you may be asked to design and cam for 16 to 18 marks. It may be 12 to 16 marks, but we have seen numericals in the news question papers asked for 18 marks too. Okay, so as I have said that it is a scoring unit, but if you have committed any sort of mistake in the initial part of it, then you are not going to get the rest of the marks. So precautions needs to be taken in this particular unit. Yes, of course it is a scoring unit, no doubt in it, and we will do a lot of practice for this particular unit so that we will ensure that we are going to get these marks. Are you getting me? Now, as you are aware, okay, let us discuss that point later on. Okay. Next is unit number 5, synthesis of mechanism. Again, this unit will be taught for 6 hours. We are going to see the steps in synthesis process. First is type synthesis, number synthesis, dimensional synthesis, then task of kinetic synthesis, path function, motion generation, body guidance, precision positions, Chebyshev spacing, mechanical and structural errors, 3-position synthesis of 4-bar mechanism using Freudenstein equation, analytical synthesis using kinematic coefficient in 4-bar mechanism. Okay, in this particular unit, it is based on both numerical also, theoretical also, and graphical also. These different the portion which is this portion here, you may find that you may be asked to solve this particular numericals by the graphical way, and the other portion of the unit, in the other portion of the unit, you may be asked theoretical questions or normal numerical analytical questions. Okay, so it has all the three possibilities for it, but this is also quite scoring unit, isn't it? So focus must be there in this particular units where you can score easily so that it will not affect your marks. Then unit number 6 is stepless regulations, and in bracket it is written that theoretical treatment only. So only theory part you must be understand, that what exactly stepless regulation is. What step regulation is? Whatever we can observe, whatever we do observe in case of gearboxes. The gearbox which we have in a normal gear vehicle, maybe two-wheeler or four-wheeler. Over there, if you are having choice of changing the gears, so that is nothing but the step regulation. But if it is an automated one, so then it is known as stepless regulation. So theoretical type or the theoretical treatment we are supposed to give to this particular section of the unit. The next is gyroscope. So in this particular step regulation, what is the content of it? Very first is continuous variable transmission, CVT. We call it as an CVT. So for CVT, geometry, velocity, and torque analysis of faceplate variators, conical variators, spiral variators, cone variators, variators with actually displaceable cones, PI ways. This is what is the content of this CVT under the stepless regulation. But it is the theoretical one. One theoretical question will be asked in this particular unit or in this particular subsection. Okay. Next, the most important part of this particular unit is gyroscope. For sure, for sure, there will be numerical based on this particular unit or subsection, because on the upper part stepless regulation theoretical question will be there, and over here we are going to have the numerical part. Very rarely you will get any theoretical question in the gyroscope, rarely. Okay, so what we are going to see or what we are going to discuss in this is gyroscopes, different gyroscopes, then different gyroscopic forces and couples acting on the gyroscope, gyroscopic stabilization for ship, aeroplane. This is what we are going to see. Stability of four-wheeler if it is moving on a curved path. So this is what we are going to see. Moreover, this is an conceptual, what we can say, subsection of the unit, where you must understand the basics of gyroscope and what are the different gyroscopic forces and couples. If you have understood this, then and then only you will be able to solve the numericals based on this particular section. Okay, so this is what we are going to discuss in unit number 6. Now, the very famous question you people have, that which book we should refer. So one of the good book is S.S. Ratan, Theory of Machines by S.S. Ratan. So this is quite a good book which is covering all the points of this particular syllabus. Okay, so you can refer that particular book. Then next part of this thing is what is the term work. Okay, and what we are going to see in the term work section, that is what we will see now.